Alright, unmuted. Yo, what is up, Wolf? What is up? What is up? Oh, there we are. Change this. Alright, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Hello and what is up? Welcome to episode 370 of the Center Ring Esports podcast presented by Philly Esports. And this is going to be the best episode ever because we have some big news to talk about. Of course, Microsoft buying out Activision Blizzard, ESL Faceit being merged together under one company for a lot of money. Some Yikes of the week, and as well as e-news to get to. But before any of that, let me tell you about Philly Esports. They are friends of the show, and good dudes all around. You can go to phillyesports.gg right now, sign up for a multitude of free online tournaments, completely free to sign up, but don't let that trip you up because there is money on the line. Right now, January 29th, their 4v4 Halo Infinite event. They have an upcoming Super Smash Brothers event that you can sign up for all online, all completely free. phillyesports.gg. Do it right now, and you tell them TCR sent you.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Ron Rambo Kim, and you are listening to The Center Ring.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello, everybody. Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast. This is episode 370, coming to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The date, January 24th, 2022. The time, 9:06 p.m. Central. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. Join our Discord. The link is in the description of said Twitter. Be a part of that conversation. Play some games with us. do whatever it is that you want to do. It's your life. Don't let me tell you what to do. My name is Tim. I'll be your captain for this journey into esports, and alongside me, as always, is my best friend, my brown friend. It's Anuj. What's up?
Beautiful intro today, dude. No hiccups. I like the liner that you picked, the newly inducted Hall of Famer,
Hall of
Ronald
Fame.
Rambo Kim. Oh, that was a solid start to Monday's show.
I'm feeling, you know what? It's weird because I'm actually exhausted. So it's weird that I did hit that liner or just the whole intro. Solid. Maybe it was just
I think it was like the first perfect one of the year without like a redo.
No, that's definitely true. It's just, you know, when my back's up against the wall, game's on the line, Tournament Tim shows up. So, no, I had all of last week off. This was my first day back at work. And before people are like, oh man, you had a week off. Yeah, I had a week off at home because our babysitter took a week off. And as an adult, as a parent, you don't get your own vacation. That is something, Anuj, and you can attest to this, no one told me about before having kids.
No.
Like, a lot of people told me a lot of things. No one ever said, two things no one ever warns you about having kids. It will take you 3 weeks to watch a movie because you're watching it in like 15-minute increments. Or
MMO releases no longer mean anything.
Yeah, like a big video game out, cool. But also the fact that it's like your time off is no longer your time. I spent a week at home watching my 2 kids. That's what I did. And one was sick. So.
And then you're more tired by the end of the day.
Yeah, like,
so
I mean, you were even, like,
get on.
You can attest. Like, I had an entire week off. 40 hours off. I think I got on an average at like 10:30 p.m. at night. And that's only some nights. Some nights I didn't get on at all. That's not me. Old kidless Tim, if I take week time off, that's like a minimum 14-hour.
40-hour gaming week.
Yeah, that's minimum 12 hours a day. I'm on that computer. So love the kids.
Cherish those moments. Though.
Yeah,
those
I'm not saying I don't love my family. I'm just saying
No. I'm talking about to the single guy out there right now.
Yeah, take advantage of it now.
Enjoy it.
Don't ever not have a family, because it's also awesome having a family. It's awesome being a dad and a husband and whatever. But
just a different time.
That doesn't mean you can't have fun now. So I just want all of our listeners to know. Next time, maybe tweet at us when you're playing video games next time before 8 p.m. and do it for me. Because
like how some people think of the old high school days. I think of like the old gaming days. Like those are the types of memories that they bring back when you think of it.
The days of getting on before 9 p.m. are slim to none. That is quickly dwindling, if not already gone. But no, other than that, I'm feeling good. I am feeling good. Let's get to the show, because we have a lot to get to, a lot of big news to get to. Real quick, before we get to Yikes, let's knock out a good dude of the week. Our first good dude of the week of the year, if that makes sense. Former NFL, and this one actually hits close to home because it involves Philly esports. Former NFL player Boston Scott. Is he former or does he still play? We were looking this up before the show.
Former, it's not former. So current, we'll say current NFL player.
That's the Cowboys fan coming out of Anuj. She doesn't even want to give him the respect.
He's the Eagles player.
Yeah, so he plays for the Eagles. NFL player Boston Scott increased the prize pool for the Super Smash Brothers Ultimate Singles Tournament hosted by Philly Esports up to $3,000. So
that's pretty awesome.
Taking it out.
I mean, and as we know, for that scene in general, any bump in a prize pool is a big deal.
3,000, that might be a major.
Yeah, it pretty much is.
You're getting top tier pros for a $3,000 tournament for Smash nowadays. So
if the Saudi government gets a hold of Philly esports thinking that they can host $3,000 Smash events, they're about to offer them like half a bill right there.
So looks good though. I mean, look, that's pretty awesome for Philly esports. As I said, friend of the shows, they're awesome. We would always suggest them, but the fact that a local NFL player also took notice of them is pretty cool.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Good dude of the week, #1 on the year, goes to Boston Scott. Good dude at this very moment. In about 5 seconds, he goes back to being an Eagle player, and Anuj hates him. So.
This didn't make me like him all of a sudden. I appreciated what he did, but I didn't become a fan all of a sudden of the guy. So
Understandable. Understandable.
Not gonna happen.
Listen,
but I respect him.
Listen, there's a lot of players. I would turn down money if it came from some players, so I don't blame you at all. I don't blame you at all. Yikes of the week. We only have one this week because the talking points are kind of yikes in themselves, or at least yikes trickled in. So yikes of the week, my yikes of the week, Anuj, comes from the Call of Duty League as they announced their talent lineup as the start is just around the corner. We had the kickoff weekend, but that's like preseason. It's kind of fake. Yeah. It doesn't count. So the kickoff weekend was this last weekend, so they released the talent. Everything was looking good. We have some new faces in there, but we don't have some old faces. As it has been revealed, as of now, which things can always change, especially with the current forecast of how Activision Blizzard is operating. But as of right now, Anuj, we do not have Merc or Maven, the Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, the Jim Nance, Collinsworth combo, pick whatever legendary combo casting crew that you want to pick. They are not in the Call of Duty League right now as employees.
Yeah, and I know you're not the biggest fan of Maven in terms of being as a caster.
Right. Okay? I'm not a fan of his casting.
It's not like an anti-Maven thing.
No.
It's just you're not a big fan of his casting. However, I really enjoy them on the behind the desk over there. I think they are, to me, just the face of that game. I mean, you mentioned a lot of legendary casting crews, but what they are to COD is more like a Madden Summerall type situation. Like, they are the two premier casters in the game, and for them to not only not be involved, but they were never even offered a contract. So it wasn't like this is some sort of pay dispute that they're running into and they couldn't come to an agreement. Like, they weren't even sent an offer to have an opportunity to decline it or accept it. And so that is a big blow, because that's a weird move that I don't think I could justify for financial reasons, because they can't be that expensive to where it's it
well,
doesn't
I
even
think they would definitely take, as long as it was a respectable offer, I feel like they would take somewhat of a discount, just because
that's all they do.
Right. It's Call of Duty. Like, if they're not part of the league, and if the league is like, look, buds, we want you, but this is all we got. This is all we can offer you. I feel like maybe they would work some type of, and maybe that's us being ignorant and like, hey, look, when it's your job, and you're going to take what you can get in your money wise and not say anything else. But I would feel like they would almost be a little willing to take a little less if the league was honest with them and, whatever. Like, obviously not something low ball.
I'm wondering if I say their recent comments, everybody's recent comments towards CDL, they's included, had maybe because Merc and Maven are a little bit more outspoken, right? Like, they don't follow the traditional, they've been in the COD scene long enough, so they feel comfortable talking about problems, where some of the other ones, not to say that they would not want to bring it up, but they're trying to get the job. Like, Maven and Merc had the job, so little different attitude towards it.
Yeah.
And
no, I mean, look, there's no doubt that it was the same thing with Overwatch League, right? The somewhat outspoken ones of the league just happen to also be the ones not invited back to the league the next season. That obviously plays a part. I do get a sense of, and I have no idea what's going on in their situation behind the scenes, but it almost feels like someone's power tripping somewhere, right? Does it not?
Yeah.
Because again,
what a
I'm
weird
not even
area to get into a power trip on, right? Like, to not include them, like, you're doing it for the fans to have them, right? That's a fan experience decision.
Again, I'm not even a fan.
Nothing to do with the league, the players. That's purely like a fan experience that you just took away, because they are, regardless of what you think, they're so loved within the community. It's just a weird decision.
And again, I know other people who weren't fans of them, just like myself. I didn't like their casting style. I felt like they've spawned the worst style of casting esports ever has, which is they talk like this. It nails on a chalkboard for me personally. That being said, I would even hire them on because I know what they mean to Call of Duty. Like, you just don't let that go. Who was look, there's a lot of annoying sports broadcasters out there that have jobs. So it's more of a respect thing than I think at some point. But yeah, not to have them in the league, at least at the kickoff, right? Anything can happen, especially when we see this public outlash towards it. Who knows? Maybe never say never, right? Just because you don't have a contract day one doesn't mean you're not going to get one.
They could easily bring them in for
Right.
week one, right? And maybe just didn't have them for the kickoff event. But that's even a weird decision to me.
Yeah.
So like to not have them on when your league's taking such a PR hit to begin with, like why add that fuel to
Right.
the fire?
I guess you'll just have to see from a league standpoint is, do you see viewers dipping because they're not there? And if not, what's
the viewers are dipping regardless. So
Right.
it's not like
But
you
like,
wouldn't even
so
be
if
able
you
to
spend
tell
the money
what
to
kind
get
of
them back,
impact that it-
I don't know. Just seems like a weird power trip or something going on that we don't know. But either way, saw it, said yikes. It's weird. It's weird not to have your number one casting crew coming
And
back.
I'm gonna help you with this segue here because I've heard that CDL has ran into some money recently.
Oh, really? Oh,
Just a little bit.
Oh, really? And this is why I say never, because right now the CDL that did not hire them is not going to be the CDL of the future, because Activision Blizzard, we mentioned this last week during the Timmies, has been, bought for the sake of the conversation, right? Court bearings and all legal issues aside, have been acquired by Microsoft. Microsoft is purchasing Activision Blizzard and all their IPs for $69 billion. Nice. $69 billion with a B. That is an insane amount. I almost wonder what it would have been had Activision Blizzard not run into their little snafu as of the last year or so, right? Like, are we looking at 80 billion, over 100 billion, right? Like, well, I have no idea what business values
they
were.
gave them like basically $15 extra a share. I think they sold around like 85, 95 a share. And it was currently at the time sitting around like 73 or something.
Okay.
So they gave them a pretty good deal value. And I think it would have been hard for Activision Blizzard based on what they've gone through to just pass that up, right?
Well,
Like this
and
is
I
kind of
think,
an easy out for a lot of people.
oh my God, could you imagine? Not necessarily like the run-of-the-mill employees at Activision Blizzard, but the higher-ups, Bobby, which, by the way, we'll talk to in just a second. You are on a sinking ship. A sinking ship in a shark-infested water. Like, there is no way you are turning this situation around. You don't have the funds. You don't have the resources. You don't have the manpower. There was no light at the end of the tunnel for them. Like, it just was, and we've seen it, right? Look at how many games have come out from Activision Blizzard as of late. Expansions for WoW, the last few CODs. Like, there's been a lot of games that
They're surviving on Warzone and Candy Crush.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's really like they are struggling to produce and fix what they're messing up. Diablo 4, right? Well, what happened to that? The Diablo 2 remake. Anything that they've come out has been, for the most part, a miss, I would say, on the scale of success or not. And then here's Microsoft just you hear the humming of the helicopter coming to your boat, and then you see it's Microsoft with a $69 billion offer. Bobby Kotick, by the way, before you're like, haha, good, he's out. Not so fast. He is getting, reports are saying, around $390 million. So,
which was like a kind of a given based on his position, right?
He's
like
still
we know
CEO.
What payouts have been in the past, and so we knew he was going to get a hefty payout. And so
Right.
to hear that number, I mean, shocking, yes, because you don't feel like somebody should
You're not happy about
get
it.
that for the job that he did, but you do got to be happy about the fact that he is going to be out, right? Like it was reported that all divisions of Activision Blizzard will report to Phil Spencer come sometime later this year, next year, whenever everything is finalized. The earliest this could be finalized is July of this year, but you could anticipate it being a little bit later than that.
And I don't see anything. People are saying like, oh, there's still a chance. There's no chance this gets nixed. Not a chance.
No. I mean, like there was already a conversation. Phil Spencer tweeted out, CEO of Xbox Gaming, essentially, already is in conversations with Sony to ensure them that they're not going to break any of their exclusivity deals, and like COD and these games are still going to be cross-platform games. So the fact that they're having these conversations and progress. Like, it's
And for anyone who thinks like, oh, well, it's a lot of games under Mike, have you looked at Sony's ownership? Sony has just as many developers and whatever you call them, developers, publishers. I don't know the totem pole, but they have plenty of underneath them too. So,
yeah, but okay, so let's talk about that for a second. Do you think this elevates Microsoft to a whole nother level when it comes to not just the console war, but the developers they now have associated with them, right? Like the
I mean,
development
yeah,
companies.
I would say
Sony
yes.
has what? Naughty Dog, Insomniac. Those are probably two of their biggest ones, right? They have great exclusives with Bloodborne,
Right.
um, Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War. Um, but Naughty Dog and Insomniac are like the two-headed monster that they kind of have. And now with Microsoft, Activision Blizzard, right? So that's two, it's
Bethesda.
publisher and developer. Bethesda, which was a massive announcement in itself when it happened, right? Like that looked, take this out of the picture. That was like such a big gaming announcement not that long ago by Microsoft. And so they obviously have Bethesda. They have 343, as we all know, the makers of Halo. So they've also built themselves like a very strong lineup. Like to me,
Yeah.
this is tilted the war
Yeah. I
between
mean,
the two.
I
Like I
think
think it's
at this point, uh, what are we called? A world power? What's it called?
the U.S.
Yeah. What's it called?
Like a world power is not a wrong.
It's not, yeah, but it's not the word I'm thinking. Man, I'm so not political. I don't even know the word I'm trying to think of. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is it gives Microsoft the kill shot at any time they want. I would feel like at any time they want, they have enough to make things exclusive and really just put their foot on the throat of Sony or anyone out there, right?
Because you don't realistically see them doing that.
No,
right?
I don't, because I think Phil Spencer is a good dude, and I think he does love video games in that sense. So I don't see, like, people are saying like, well, there's still a chance Kotick is staying there, and I don't think it, because even before this purchase, Phil Spencer has talked about how they were already questioning if they wanted to work with Blizzard. So I don't know how long this has been in the works, but they've
They
already
said it was just 2 months, basically.
Yeah,
So it's after the accusations, but this is with the assumption that Bobby is gone, right?
Right.
Like they're not worried about the old regime. They're
No,
going to take
I don't.
over and-
They bought it for the brand and the IPs, and that's what they're going with. So, look, I know it's kind of bittersweet because I saw some people talking about like, oh, it's cool that they bought them, but at the same time, people were hoping just to have Activision Blizzard just burn. Look, as gamers, I still have a soft spot for Blizzard. Like, I know it's not the Blizzard we grew up with, but I still have a soft spot, right? I'm super excited though to see how this plays out. It's not a guarantee that it's going to just turn things around. I'm talking from a gaming standpoint, obviously from a cultural standpoint. I think, how could it not? I mean, it's when things are so bad, right? Like, how could a company like Microsoft not turn things around in that sense?
Well, and the good news is, if you're a fan of former Blizzard, take aside the transaction that was just made. Most of the old guard from Blizzard has started their new company in Dreamhaven. So you can follow that new and up and coming studio and see what they're going to come out with and how they're going to progress and what new innovative ideas they have. And that's a studio that you get to follow. That's like the old Blizzard. It's the Blizzard that you love. That's where those people are, right? Most of them, a lot of them are there right now. And then this, if you're a current fan, in the sense of you love these IPs, but maybe you don't like where they've gone recently, even if you're not trustworthy of Microsoft, you have to be optimistic that it can't be worse. So you have to look at this with at least some sort of positive light, thinking, okay, maybe StarCraft 2 gets a little bit of revival.
Right.
Maybe Diablo, finally gets pushed a little bit harder to come out in a normal release window, right? Like more content involved with these guys.
Well, and two, it's like you've even saw some reports this week. There was like some producer for Overwatch. It was a female, I forget her name, but she came out and she was tweeting saying how, like Bobby was pretty much blaming the slow production of Overwatch 2 on the staff, right?
Yeah.
Saying, hey, they're just going slow. And she came out and said on Twitter, put them on blast, saying, how about you bring up all the other projects that you're taking us off of Overwatch 2 to work on Overwatch 1 stuff, and then all of that gets canceled. So they've spent months not working on Overwatch 2 for something that's going to get canceled, right? And so
Or
that's
something that just didn't make it through production. It didn't even make it to production.
right.
So.
And so it's like you get nothing back from that. And I think that's somewhat of the you're going to see, I would think, less of, right? Because when a company buys out another company, and I think this is pretty standard, right? They look at their books. And typically, before they even buy them, they can look at their books, right? If they're in that conversation.
In a deal this big, yeah.
Yeah, like Microsoft is going to Activision and Blizzard saying like, yo, what am I giving you this money for? Let me see the books. And
they were kind of shocked when the bookmarks were like pictures of employees. They were a little turned off.
like, what is this $1 million to the Cosby Suite for? What is this Cosby Suite? No. So I think the one thing that you have to bring up is typically when a company buys another company, they look at, okay, where are our money losers, right? What's losing us money? What can we cut off? Where's the dead meat that we can cut off right now? So that's what I'm somewhat curious on. Like, do they just look at StarCraft as a dead game and say, you know what, we can't do anything with RTS StarCraft, but maybe they take that IP and work on StarCraft Ghost finally, right? Maybe we finally get a StarCraft Ghost that we were always promised or something like that. That, that's a possibility. Looking from an esports side, though, we already have where CDL is going to work with Esports Engine, which, of course, is the ones who are also working with Halo. They're former MLG guys, so it's come full circle on that one, right?
Like Microsoft owns MLG, so for Esports Engine, this might not be the best news if Microsoft already has its esports production team, right? So they signed the deal for the 2022 season with Esports Engine, but once this acquisition takes place, Microsoft owns MLG, so they already have their production arm for esports. So I'm curious to
see. I don't think
my guess is that boots Esports Engine.
See, I don't think MLG. I would like to know what owning MLG means at this point, right? Is it you just own the images and the copyrights for it? Is there any physical product there or people working behind it, right? Like, I don't.
You would think that they have.
I think it's just the rights. I don't think they own. I don't think it does anything at the moment. So if
No,
anything,
what I'm saying is though, if they own MLG, chances are they have an esports arm because they have games like Halo, obviously that's in their repertoire of esports games. I don't know how many other ones.
But see, before that though, they always did third party on all that. Even like for originally back in the day, it was MLG. Then it went to ESL, Esports Engine. So I think they would just. I'm not too concerned about that. But let me paint this picture for you now, though. Microsoft now has Halo, StarCraft, WoW again, right? We're looking at StarCraft, WoW, Halo, Call of Duty, Gears of War. These are all classic MLG games. What if they just bring back the brand MLG and host MLG events again with all these multi-games?
That's exactly what I think they would do.
But it would just be the branding though, with Esports Engine running it all is what I would think would happen. That's what that's what I think would happen. Why are you gonna, for now anyways,
keep the money in house, not spending. I mean, if you have that many esports games, I would have to think you would want to run it the way you want to run it ultimately.
Yeah,
that's my guess. So I know they're different from what each other are saying. Everyone has guesses right now. That's all we got.
And that's all it is. I'm super curious to see.
That's like a small, that's something we'll find out anyway. Things that I'm excited for, Tim, is like, what does this do for Game Pass? Like, to me, Game Pass was already a great value deal, as y'all have heard us. People probably think we're sponsored by Microsoft, the amount that we pimp out Game Pass. Like, I think it's such a great
I wish we were sponsored.
For gamers. If it was there when we were kids, I would love something like that.
God.
So now you add Blizzard Activision into the mix. So who knows what other benefits and perks. Maybe Call of Duty stays cross-platform. But if you're a Game Pass user, you get this, and this with it, so the Ultimate Edition, whatever it may be, for World of Warcraft, if you're a Game Pass subscriber, maybe you don't have to pay your subscription fee on top of that. And now that's just a perk of being a Game Pass member is everyone that has Game Pass now has access to World of Warcraft without a subscription fee. That could revitalize WoW to some extent. They have to make a good game still, but
Right.
that could definitely help, right?
Kicking
That's like a lot
casuals
of
back.
users that are there. So, I mean, if you're an Overwatch fan, once again, like this is Overwatch is not free to play, is it? Is
No.
Overwatch free to play?
Mm-mm.
It's not free to play. So
Somehow. Somehow.
that's why I was asking. I had to put the question mark
No,
because I wasn't 100%.
I've thought
It
for sure. It's
feels
still
like
like
it should be
it's
free to
still
play.
like $40. I don't even think it's like $10. It's like it's still a real
It's like a
game.
full-price game. Okay, so this will help Overwatch going free to play for Game Pass. So I think Game Pass has become we've talked about it, the Netflix of gaming. It's truly a one-stop shop for all genres of games, and you've just added like 6 of the biggest IPs out there along with the Bethesda. Like, I mean, all of this is just for me getting me excited for the future of like Game Pass, cloud gaming, where they want to evolve that. And I know cloud gaming is not necessarily a you and me type thing, but like for people out
Right.
there, it's a way to experience so many games that they maybe wouldn't be able to touch on otherwise.
Can I just say one thing if anyone from Microsoft is listening? Take the Blizzard launcher and keep it. Okay, because the Xbox app on PC sucks.
Yeah, I agree.
It's awful. Like navigating around it. Like if you're gonna take it, just let us still keep the BattleNet or whatever they call it.
Could you honestly move all the Xbox stuff? onto
now.
Battle.net
Yeah,
for
like
PC
please.
users? Like that would be better if you could. I would actually
Because
like that.
the Xbox app is no bueno. No bueno. I am excited from an esports side though, just to kind of pick up from where I left off is with these leagues, right? So we all assume they're losing money. It's just looking at viewership and everything like that and how much it costs to run and everything like that. But I am curious to see how they go about structuring for the future. Do we start, because like with Halo, they have their partnered teams, right? Their franchises, if you want to call them that. And then you have the open brackets and everything underneath where people can compete back into it. So do they, and this is just me again speculating, right? Like we could see that coming back to COD, right? They're already talking about ditching that yearly release, possibly ditching the yearly release for Call of Duty, which I think is a smart idea, right? It's just,
It almost needs to happen if you want to be able to deliver on a game that people are expecting.
especially now that you have Warzone, right? Like you have your yearly revenue maker. Like Warzone's going to be your money maker. You don't need a new Call of Duty every stinking year to turn around money. You have Warzone in that sense now. So focus on a good game. For the love of God, have ranked in it, and then, go from there.
Maybe an extra year of development lets them build out a ranked play. Maybe it's that hard. I don't know, right? Maybe it takes time to build a better anti-cheat system. Like
Halo had 2 extra years in Uch.
Halo had 6 extra years, Tim. Okay, not 2.
Well, people say
years.
6. I think the 6 is a little fluffed. They don't spend 6 years developing, like there's some other stuff in there, but I agree they had much longer to do it. Still a good game, but the PC was whatever. I digress. I don't want to get on that one. But
but yeah, for the esports side, it's huge. You can expect changes there, right? Because CDL and Overwatch League are terribly run at the moment. I think almost 90% of people will agree on that. So I would hope for some major changes to both of these ecosystems to try and rebuild them. I mean, it's going to take more than, it's a name change. We're now Microsoft, so everything is fixed. Like that's not enough. And so I'm hoping under new leadership, they make some of these big changes. It would be awesome to see them all under the MLG banner and have a massive like tournament every year where you have multiple games out there, and maybe you combine that with BlizzCon.
I was just about to say, like, I didn't even think about BlizzCon, but you could have, I mean, it's the most like Microsoft Con or whatever the hell they're going to call it now. But dude, you can have the most badass event where you have, just like BlizzCon was, right? You have that being like your Super Bowl event for all of these things. Call of Duty finals, Overwatch finals, all under one roof. Dude, like, and I think that's what they would want, right? Like,
I would get COVID to go to that event.
Absolutely.
Like I would risk it.
Absolutely. You
I
need me to
would
take
risk it.
the vaccine like up my butt? I'll do it. Like I will I will take
Wait,
it.
that's not how yours was done.
What did
Oh,
my
God.
doctor tell me?
I mean, like, yeah, I would really be excited for something like that. In the future, I mean, the future is bright. Even if, like I said, you're not 100% optimistic about Microsoft, you have to be optimistic about change.
Right.
And I think that's what we're at least going to see from this. So if you're on esports, you should be excited. If you're a fan of some of these older IPs that haven't gotten love over time, you should be excited. It puts pressure on other studios to kind of step up and like also like it's going to be interesting to see how this leads a chain reaction with maybe like EA and Ubisoft, two of these guys that are kind of just roaming out there now. With Ubisoft or whoever, EA, Battlefield's probably not helping that sale value at the moment,
There's
right?
already talks of it going free to play.
You probably look at the books and it was on sale at Walmart for $9.99.
The new one?
I mean, the new one was on sale, and I still
Oof.
wasn't interested in
Oof.
buying it. So
yeah, there's talks of it already going free to play because it's been
I
such
mean,
a
but
disaster.
I think this causes somewhat of a chain reaction because now we're at a big three pretty much, right? You have Tencent, you have Sony, and Tencent's the owner of, I say owner, big contributor to Riot Games. Epic Games is where they own, I think, most of Riot Games. They own a large portion of Epic Games. So those have those two juggernauts under their
and
wing.
anything in China, pretty much, right?
Sony, Naughty Dog, Insomniac, a handful of others, obviously more like indie type studios, and now Microsoft. So that leaves Nintendo out there, who I think never sell and stay on their
No
own
way.
for as long as they possibly can. But you have like studios out there that are running like T2, who's running like Rockstar and the 2K games. You have EA, who's running Dice, and then whatever else they have. Valve, Ubisoft, like I kind of wonder what this does to the ecosystem. Like, do more of them get bought up, or do we see maybe a combination of some of these other ones forming a larger studio there? But I think I just don't see this as a bad thing right now. Maybe if they buy up everybody and we have some sort of monopoly situation, but for Activision Blizzard, it was a shit show. It was a ship that was sinking rapidly over the past year and a half. IPs that were dying, that were legendary. So this is, I think it's just good news. At least it allows me to be optimistic until they do goof it up, if they goof it up.
Well, only time will tell for that one. But yeah, right now, positive vibes only for this one, right? I know some people are being upset about it, and look, this is just one man's opinion. You're not going to win the fight against Bobby. Bobby's the CEO. He's been there. He hasn't stepped down. He's going to get this paycheck. And unfortunately, it's not the way it should be, but it's the way it is. Enjoy the fact that as a gamer, we're having culture change in Activision Blizzard side, and hopefully it's all for the best for not only their employees, right, but also us, selfishly, the gamer.
Bobby's about to be on a yacht sitting outside of Epstein's Island, just hanging out, enjoying life.
Like, he does not care about your angry tweets. I promise you.
No.
He doesn't care. So just have fun with it. Positive vibes. All right. So next to the other big news here is we have, I was not like this one was completely out of left field. ESL and Faceit are merging, but not in one. They are being bought by the same company. Savvy Gaming Group, SGG. They are purchasing ESL for $1 billion and Faceit for $500 million. So this is getting mixed receptions, just as any other big news will, because, you ask, SGG is backed by Saudi Arabian's government public investment fund, which Anuj.
Basically, it's this is the money is coming from the Saudi government.
Okay, that was my question. Is what does that mean?
Essentially, in this case, is guess who's going to have some controlling power in terms of what direction they take. They might not put their hand in it at all, right? It might just be a financial decision for them, but the Saudi government now has controlling power over two of your biggest Counter-Strike TOs.
Anuj,
and
if I spent $1 billion on something, if I'm the Saudi prince, I'm slapping my face. The mold of my face would be the ESL Pro League trophy. If I spend $1 billion for your company, my face is your trophy.
$1 billion to the Saudi government's nothing.
No,
It's like nothing.
that's like
pennies for them.
half an assassination.
But
But
yeah, literally. I mean, it's just like this is going to get mixed reception. You're going to see an outspoken group, but I don't think it'll be nearly as outspoken as the Blast Neon deal that was supposed to take place, and that was just as a sponsorship. And the
right,
reason I say that is I'm curious to see the ones that are working there. This is like done. This is not like, hey, we are considering doing this. What is the community feedback? Like, no, they got offered $1 billion. They took it, right? Like, you can't blame them from a financial standpoint because that's a ton of money. And so I think the backlash here will will be a little bit more reserved than what we saw for even a sponsorship deal, which sounds funny, but it's because it's a done deal. Like, nothing's changing here. You can't. There's no takesy backsies here. It's not like, oops, we made a mistake. We want our company back. Like, that's not how it works. So, it's really interesting. I think it's slightly concerning. I'm very, very curious to see if Valve maybe don't take us they're not going to take a stance, but maybe now it pushes them to like, hey, let's make our own ecosystem for Counter-Strike possibly. Now that would not put you in good standing with the Saudi government if you were to do something like that.
right.
But I mean, the Saudi government is notorious for a lot of shitty stuff. There's a reason, like, people are not hating on the Saudi government because we're racist towards Saudis. We're upset at some of the atrocities that
Right.
government has
And
committed.
that's the key, right? Is the way I have to look at it to justify myself still watching it and not feeling bad about it, right? And this is not just ESL's and Faceit's problem, right? This isn't just an esport problem. You see it all, like F1, Formula One racing. They're constantly preaching we race as one, and they're all about human rights and equal liberties and blah blah blah. Like, the last quarter of their year is in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, like all these awful countries for human rights. So obviously,
look at the Olympics.
yeah, the Olympics, right? Like,
The
we
World
see this
Cup, like,
all the time where like you have these companies preaching human rights and equal rights and all this stuff, and then they'll cash in the check from these countries.
How is it that different than a China-backed company? Like, nobody's over here yelling at Fortnite because the Chinese, Tencent, Chinese-owned company, Tencent owns them.
Right.
I think a little different here is it's like the actual Saudi government.
That's what it is, right? It's like you can't even separate it as, well, it's a Saudi Arabian company, but these dudes are good. Like, from what we know,
like, they're cool. They're not like beheading people. And stuff,
like, no, you're thinking of the other Saudi Arabian with an assassination team. These guys, that's not them. No, this is them. All those stories that you hear of the prince sending out assassins to chop up reporters while they're still alive, that's them. This is them.
Yeah.
So I understand and back why people are not comfortable. They're not loving the idea of this, and I totally get it. And honestly, from like a normal human, I don't know, like, what do you do? Like, are you just
there's nothing, because what are you gonna do? You're not gonna watch like Katowice coming up,
Right.
or you're not gonna watch Cologne next time.
And
it
this
shows
isn't
up for,
just
like,
Counter-Strike,
protest.
right? Like, we're Counter-Strike guys, so we're talking, but I mean, ESL is huge in Dota, right?
Yeah.
They have games in almost every esport to some extent, and Faceit, right? Like, Faceit was DreamHack now.
Didn't Faceit just partner with Halo too?
Yeah. Yeah, they have
Like,
Halo.
like,
You have DreamHack was Faceit, right? So now DreamHack is going to be underneath all that same banner.
what are we not gonna go to DreamHack this next year in protest?
I'm going to ask for an interview with the Prince.
Yeah, do that when I'm not next to you.
I think we could be buddies. He would get my humor, right?
I'm sure he would, as he chops you up into 60 million pieces. No, I mean,
He would
like,
get my humor.
there's not. Like I said, I think the backlash from this, although it's bigger news than a sponsorship deal, I think it's just going to go by the wayside because there's just not a lot you can do. I mean,
Right.
unless you're willing to boycott the game, which tell me you are. I'll tell you I'll see it when I believe it. I mean, I just don't see that realistically happening, and so they run too much. Like there's too much between Faceit and ESL to be like I'm not going to stand with this and I'm going to boycott this. Like I just don't see any of that happening, and the talent that's there, it puts them in a tough situation. Like I'm sure they're going to get backlash if they don't speak out against it, but like what do you want them to do? Quit, like just quit their
Right.
jobs and go cast for another company? Like, hey, what's out there? Blast? It's like the last man standing. So I don't see a ton coming from this, but the news is really big. They did in their initial statement say they are committed to three focus areas off the bat. One of them was rebuilding NA Counter Strike. Don't really know how you do that, but
They
that they're
said that,
committed.
really?
Yeah, it's in the release. Is they want to rebuild North American Counter Strike. I'm guessing that's
Okay.
like injecting some money into the ecosystem and like
Already, that instantly gives you 2 forgiveness on assassinations. I will forgive 2 assassinations because of that.
a better anti-cheat system for Faceit
All right.
and a path to pro system available, like a better path to pro, because ESL got shitted on for their path to pro system, right? They kind of like goofed it when they went to the league formatted like buy-ins, right? So it was
Right.
just the top tier teams were kind of involved, and to get your name in, it really is very slim chances of happening. So they said they're committed to building a better path to pro system. All of these things sound great. I mean, accomplish it, and then I'll applaud you for it. But
Right. It's just the hypocrisy behind, and like I said, it's the same. Like we said, there's a million other outings that deal with this same drama, right? It's the hypocrisy that the fans hate. But again, what are you gonna do? Like,
yeah,
you're not gonna watch, but it's still gonna happen, and you're probably still gonna watch, right? Like I sat there glued to the TV watching the Olympics and F1 races. So like you go to ESL Gaming's website right here, one of their top articles that they're promoting. GG for All brings an all-new women's CSGO league. You think that's going to happen in Saudi Arabia? You think they're going to host the event there for that one? Like, probably not. So it's these issues where, and maybe they will, right, to save face, because they also understand their market, but that's the issue, right? Like AAA in chat was asking why are people upset about it? They're not upset because of, oh no, we're losing ESL and Faceit and it's losing competitions, and it's, look, I think there's sometimes too much competition in that regards in esports. Like it was too disjointed at times, right? So if we're putting in Faceit and ESL under one roof, I'm on paper supporting that. I think what people are having issues here is swallowing the pill of like, damn it, not just not a Saudi Arabian company. It's not a Saudi team that bought this out, right? It's not an esports org that bought this out. It's the government. Like, it's the bad guys. So, and look, I think people would feel somewhat similar if any government. Like, that's just weird, right? Like, I've never.
Yeah, I mean that feels strange, but it, it's easy to pick on the Saudi government
Of course, well,
because
yeah,
of like
yeah.
just if it was like the UK government, for example,
It would be
we
weird, but it'd be like,
definitely
okay,
say, oh well, UK don't have any good Counter Strike players. Like, why are they doing this? Like, that would be the knock on them, but not that. Oh, this is being run by individuals that have committed like some really bad atrocities throughout the
right.
history of time. So
Now,
it,
if all of a
it's
sudden we
unique in that
see,
sense.
watch within like the next 6 months, a Saudi team is like number 2 in the world in Counter Strike, then you know something's up. You know something's up if all of a sudden a Saudi team just pops up out of nowhere and
On
Simple's
the
playing.
ESL rankings, it's like Astralis, Navi, G2, Jihad, whatever we like. It's like
Simple looks up from his computer and just sees the assassin in the crowd sharpening his knife. Like, don't you get this clutch? Don't you get this clutch?
you need to throw right now, like right now.
I need you to miss this next shot. I need you to pull a Nico in the major there for me, bud.
Yeah, I don't think we'll like notice. I just don't think a ton's gonna happen out of this. I think at least right now. I'm excited to see what they do with it. Like maybe they have some cool ideas because I know
Right.
this Saudi in general has wanted to be involved with esports for a while.
Yeah.
Like they've tried several ways. Unfortunately, with the government standing, that's made it tough for them to like be actively involved without taking a lot of criticism. Well, now they just made one of the biggest plays in esports. I mean, these are two of the biggest TOs out there. And so it makes it interesting, and now we kind of have to just live with it and hope that they at least do right by these companies. And so, as far as I know, they're leaving the teams in place. It's not like they're
Hmm.
changing out the two teams. I'm sure over time there will be some layoffs as you merge them completely, but these are huge, huge companies, and
Right.
so it's going to be interesting to see if DreamHack sees any changes. You know what they do with the Faceit hub. Like, what are they? What are the expectations to make these products better? To make the money you just spent worth it. So that's at least as a fan, maybe what you can be excited about. Um, when it comes to again where the money is coming from, it's just not a ton you can do unless you're willing to boycott.
It's a
So
billion. It's a
that's how you
billion
want to show your
dollars.
support. Great. I just don't see that happening on like mass scale.
1.5. They spent 1.5 billion dollars. Like, I don't know the books, I don't know the numbers, but if you would have asked me before tonight what ESL and Faceit were worth, 1.5 billion would not even have been on the radar. Like, just not even close. So obviously, maybe they spent more than they had to, but they just wanted to get it, no fuss. I don't know. Maybe they saw the books and see something we're not. Maybe ESL is more global than I think. I don't know on that front. But yeah, there's nothing you could say if you're not happy about the government owning it. I totally get it, and I support any hate coming in that direction. But if on a positive side, they don't half-ass it. Like, you look at Formula One, and those races are awesome. Like, it's a night race. It's the track is the racers love it and everything like that. One driver even said, like, yeah, the track's great. I just wish it wasn't here. like, if you could just move this, not in Saudi Arabia, that'd be great, or Qatar, whatever it was, but whatever race it was. But, I think they are going to put effort into. You don't spend $1.5 billion and say, like, just do your thing. Like,
Yeah.
so
No, there'll be some, there'll be some major changes. I think it'll happen over time. Right now, it's just going to be getting everything organized and merging the two and, seeing what they want to do. But huge, huge purchase. I mean, these are two massive purchases now between Microsoft getting Activision Blizzard and obviously Face It ESL. These are just massive events that have taken place in the last week. They're huge. They can both be exciting in their own ways. And I know you and I are both very excited for the Microsoft one and have some questions on the ESL stuff. But money is at least getting thrown in to gaming still. Like the value is there. We're talking 80 billion, 70 billion for one, 1.5 for the other. Like that's exciting to see money still getting thrown into esports during a time with, COVID and no LAN events. Like have taken a little bit of a hit. This just shows that the business interest is still there, very
yeah.
very much so.
Absolutely. And like I said, expect the Saudi prince to be on the podcast couple weeks max. I
The
would have to
only
imagine.
negative that we're going to hear now from these two deals, we're going to hear the word metaverse about 3,000 times over the next year from Microsoft, and then they're going to keep pushing that on us until we're all in this metaverse of theirs. But outside of that, I think that's a pretty solid deal.
Either way, there's exciting things in the future, regardless, right? So there's something to look forward to, at least some personal interest. So there you have it. Anuj, let's get into some e-news as we have some things to knock out here. Where CSGO, a lot is happening as we are approaching the start of the CSGO calendar. Blast Premier Springs Groups of 2022. They really got to do something about that naming. Starts January 28th, so this Friday, I believe. Friday? Sometime this week. Kicks off. So you have a lot of teams finalizing rosters, getting things in order. Evil Geniuses doing what Saudi wants to do and single-handedly saving NA Counter-Strike as they pick up Stewie, Automatic, and Rush to complete their rebuild.
Yeah, and Malik as the coach for them, as Noman's mentioning here in chat. And I mean, big pickups, right? This is 3 out of the 5 from the major winning team. You pair them with Breezy and Cirque, and
I like it.
see what you can do. I mean, it's exciting on paper.
I don't dislike it.
Yeah.
Like you said, on paper it's great. So we'll see. Hey, like we said, you got to sign NA to save NA. Gambit beat Entropic 2-0 in the finals of the Fun Spark Ulti 2021 finals.
And that was a pretty big event. Like that had Astralis, Fnatic, Big, Complexity. All these teams were in there. Most of them got smoked, honestly, except for I think Big got top 3. But Astralis, Fnatic, Complexity had some really weak finishes. Complexity finished dead last, but surprisingly big event that was a kind of under the radar. But good start, to the year for Gambit and kind of continuing where they left off last year.
It's too early to care, right? Like these.
I mean, I say that, but then next week, this Friday, I'm going to be excited for the games.
Yeah, because it's Blast. Like I feel like Blast is the kickoff, right? Like,
Yeah,
this is the start of. It's like you had this.
This is missing too many teams.
Kind of It feels a little pre-seasony, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm excited. I'll tune it in, but G2.
If you were hoping for some Counter-Strike, this watered your mouth a little bit,
right?
But it wasn't for the masses.
No. G2 and OG swap Alexi B for Nexa.
If Alexi B can't win with this roster, then serious doubt in my mind of how good he ever really was, because he's been given a couple of good rosters now, and now this G2 roster really should be a title type roster. So if they don't come out with multiple titles, not necessarily the major, but like a couple of big titles this year, that would be a devastating blow to like how he's looked at as a top tier IGL, I feel.
HLTV released their full list for their top whatever it is Counter-Strike players of the year. Your top 10, we don't have to read all of them, but your number 1 is Simple, 2 ZywOo, 3 Nico, 4 Shiro, however you want to say it, and 5 Exile.
4, 5, and 6, all from Gambit with Shiro, Axel, and Hobbit, which is pretty awesome to see. And I mean, it's filled with Ukraine, Russia, all throughout the top 10 is kind of littered between Na'Vi and Gambit.
One could say they're going to war for the top 10 spots.
Yeah, the only Ukraine player on there is
little political
Bit. I wonder what that's like with Bit, Electronic, Simple, all these guys.
I love.
You think they're talking politics in between games?
I love the theory. Not that I love war. War is not a laughing matter, kids. But I love the theory that Putin wants to invade Ukraine just so Simple and Bit can get drafted, and then he'll write an exception for the Russian players to stay in Counter-Strike and knock out Na'Vi. I love it. I'm not saying I support war, but I'm saying I get it. If that's the case, I get it.
Like there has to be a way to stop Simple. It might take a country going to war to do that.
Right, like if Russia invading Ukraine is the only way we can stop this team, so Putin's like, so be it. Line them up.
Line the forces up.
Line them up. Push the big red button and line them up. Not funny. War is not funny.
Not funny. Not funny. Kind of funny though.
Kind of funny. In Valorant, TSM rebuilt is complete. Added Corey and Rossi as expected. That's kind of been the rumor now for a while.
It's been a rumor for like months. Like, thank you for
It's been a rumor long enough that I thought it was already done, and then when they said the announcement, I was really confused.
Well, it's been a rumor long enough to where it's almost time for a roster change. Like, it's been out for a long time.
We had the Knights Arena this is very hard to say. Valor Rampage. Does not roll off my tongue. This is again C91, so of course it's the biggest tournament of all time, and I respect it. Preseason. This is the issue with VCT, right? Anything outside of VCT, it's like my interest is immediately shot. So
yeah, because it doesn't have much meaning to the overall effect of the year.
No, I mean, I guess until you get to the end of the year where you have some of those tournaments that they were talking about, but like this is just, again, it's kind of preseason. Some of the teams mentally aren't there, whatever. In Call of Duty news, Optic Major was announced that, which I guess is the Texas Major, right, will be hosted in Dallas March 3rd through the 6th. We will be there. We were not at kickoff this weekend just because of kids being sick and whatnot. March 3rd through the 6th, though, as of right now, we will be there.
Assuming this Omicron doesn't keep getting everybody sick.
Yeah.
Because if y'all don't know, our whole friend circle is
it-
like literally I say our whole friend circle like it's massive. Our group of like 6 or 7 close friends,
right.
4 of them, including their families, all have.
It's a zombie apocalypse, and me and Anuj are the surviving.
Like literally just
Never. Somehow you and I have never had. Maybe that speaks more volume to what we do with our personal life.
Yeah.
But you and I have not had COVID at all. None of the variants. So maybe that just says we need to get out more, or we're doing things right. I don't know. Esports engines are now partnered with COD League, as we talked about already. So big news there. And for the kickoff event, Ultra defeated Seattle. So Ultra picking up where they left off from last season, looking hot. Seattle,
Seattle's got the new roster.
Yeah.
They look pretty good. Seattle's also beat Atlanta over the weekend, and they've kind of, that team for whatever reason has given Atlanta fits in general. But like they have been doing well in scrims and whatnot. For Optic, poor showing obviously because they've been dominating in scrims, and to come out and fall flat feels very Dallas-esque for a team. Like
Right.
perform when it doesn't matter, and then when it does, like to not show up on the bigger stages. But I hope they kind of get it together and get it rolling in time for the Dallas Major. But a good, I thought it like a fairly. Did you watch the kickoff weekend at all?
I mean, yes and no. I had it.
Here?
I had it on. I could not.
As much as the game sucks, like I like the players so much in CDL. Right, I like the villains.
Yeah.
I like the good guys and the bad guys both make the storylines, because you had like at one time, LA Thief going up against Optic, and that was like huge when they had that going on. And
I mentioned this on Kevin's podcast. He had me on his the other week before all this started, and I said, you know what, positive vibes only going into the season. Like, yeah, the game has its faults. I'm not playing the game. I don't have to worry about smoke issues or whatever. The GAs will annoy me. That's what I have to worry about, right? The fact that it's an FPS that are GAing sniper rifles should be illegal. Like, to have no snipers in an FPS, like
COD.
Right. Like, that's ridiculous. But other than that, look, man, it's Call of Duty. It has so much history behind it. How can you not want to watch? It's captivating in that sense.
If you haven't seen it, go watch Octane from LA Thieves. His opening pick with the sniper rifle on. I'll find the clip. I'll make sure you post it on Twitter. It was so nasty though, and I was like, y'all were wanting to get rid of.
That's
this
why
weapon?
You keep them.
Like
that's why you
exactly.
keep them.
I mean, it was so hype, and it was at the start of the game. Everything was just rolling from there.
In other FPS news with Halo news. We have Cloud9 has won their 3rd straight Pro Series championship event. So crushing it in that department. Penguin went from never winning an event to now winning 3 in a row. So not bad. League of Legends news, breaking news. I am in a LCS Fantasy League, Anuj.
Why?
Unfiltered Nerd, friend of the show, invited me on to do a fantasy league with him. So I said, if you need a warm body, I'll do it. But I was like, I couldn't tell you.
That's the best I can.
I have to tell myself, wait, is LCS the European or is this NA? Like, I literally have to like almost tell myself every time which one it is. That's how little I pay attention and or know about League of Legends. So I drafted some players. I went with the strategy of I kind of recognize your name, so I'm going to pick you. Obviously, I picked up at least one Cloud9 player, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll keep everyone updated in the Discord. I don't know. And in other news, Team Liquid has bought out Limit Guild for their rating division. So Liquid being one of the first big orgs, correct me if I'm wrong, but Limit Guild was partnered with Complexity, not owned by Complexity, but like contract partnership with them. That recently expired a couple months ago. Liquid decided to get into the WoW rating game, straight up purchased Limit Guild, so now they have their own rating spot.
That's pretty awesome. I mean,
I love it.
It's nice that they finally got like a full-time type gig here,
Right.
right? Instead of having, they shouldn't have to bounce
I was
around.
always a Limit fan because they're the NA team, right? They're like the best NA runners. So but the fact that now that I have an excuse to buy some Liquid merch, I'm all for it. So I will cheer them out. And look, we've said enough. Listeners of the podcast know we're suckers for those races, like World's First, and even just like the tournament races and stuff.
It feels like the Olympics every time a new raid
It's-
comes out. Like, I'm very much cheering for my home country to pull that
Yeah,
off.
no, it is good, and it's cool to see Liquid always being an org that will not hesitate going for like the offshoot, right? Like they still support StarCraft and everything. Like it's #1. So cool to see them getting involved with the rating side. So there you have it. There you have it. That is episode 370. It's done. It's in the books. Thank you so much for listening. Whether you joined in late, skipped around, listen to the whole darn thing. Love you all the same. We will be back next Monday talking stuff. We got
talking stuff.
Counter-Strike is
What-
back.
What are we talking? I guess it'll be
Yeah,
Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike will be back.
That'll be nice.
No. Maybe Saudi Arabia will buy Microsoft. I don't know. Don't know. They could. They could buy them. So.
Valve sells to North Korea.
If anything, I would have thought they would have been the ones to buy Blizzard. Just really capture that Overwatch League spots. Right? Everything's moving to Korea. But no, here we are. We'll be back, though. That's Monday. That's Monday's show to worry about. We'll figure it out from there. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter. At the Center Ring. Join our Discord. The link is there. Thank you, Philly Esports, for sponsoring the show. Check them out. phillyesports.gg. Sign up for tournaments. They're free. They're fun. Do it now. Win some Philadelphia Eagles players' money. Can't be
Might
mad.
sign up just for that reason.
Can't be mad. But for Anuj, I'm Tim. We'll see ya. Love you. Bye.
Play the highlight I just sent you in chat. You can play it on the stream for everyone, if anyone's here that wants to see it.
All right.
This is what we would have missed out on had they taken out snipers. And if you can hear the audio, if in case you can't hear the audio that well, the caster is saying, "Man, I hope we see some snippety snipes in this game." And then this is the first play of the game.
Let
It was
me
just it's so perfect.
go to the end screen just to make sure we don't. Just want to make sure this isn't the same chat where you send me your dick pics, you know?
It might be.
Can people see that?
It's in the Discord chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then it opens up Twitter and all that mess. All right. No, it doesn't have the audio, but we at least have the. The jumping one where he was like jumping over.
Mm-hmm. It's just so
do full
clean.
screen? I don't know.
What? No, it wasn't full screen on the screen.
Okay.
It's unfortunate because you're blocking it with your picture.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That's right.
here. You know what? Let me do this. Boom. Now is it full screen?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
now you have to make it full
Well,
screen.
yeah. But it was. Okay. It's when I
It's
make it
cutting-
full screen, it covers
yeah,
up my
yeah.
Streamlabs. I don't know. Damn.
It's like cutting
mean,
off a lot on your screen, but it's okay.
It's because it's the widescreen.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
As long as you can see the middle, I guess. I mean, that's why you don't ban snipers, though.
Dude, it's so nasty.
You got a lucky drop for Valorant? What, in like the night store? Or for the... Oh, boy.
I'm curious what the lucky drop is. Now I feel like I missed out on something, so you're gonna have to elaborate real quick. Speaking of, that made me realize I should probably go check my Prime Gaming. Claim some Apex Legend loot that I'll probably not use.
Ever.
Claim some League
Oh,
loot
just the
that I'll
store in
open
general.
once a year.
Got the Ruination Phantom. I don't even know what that one that is. Oh, is that like a lucky one? Wasn't that like
The Ruination Phantom. Let's Google
Ruination?
this. Let's Google this.
I'm so out of the loop on what makes it.
Oh yeah, that is clean. That's clean as shit, dude. I've seen that.
Of
It
course
looks
it's
really
clean
nice.
because it's a Phantom, and that's the only things they make cool for that game.
Yeah, no, and I think it if I'm not mistaken, you get different colors of it, different variants of it. Oh yeah, it's got 4 variants. Yeah, it
It's a
looks
legendary
really sick.
skin. Nice.
And the I really like the sight on that gun. Looks cool.
Does it?
Yeah, it's a clean looking skin. Congrats.
Nice.
Very nice, very nice.
Nice.
I played a couple of games of Valorant recently, and like I swear to God, dude, I don't know. It's the boomer in me, and I feel bad for even thinking it. But like every time I play Valorant, I just want to go play a game of CS. Like I just want to get rid of all the extra bullshit and just like
I mean,
play the shooting.
that's how I am.
Because even like with the amount I play Valorant, I'm falling behind on ability usage in a meta kind of way, you
Right.
know, and I haven't like mastered.
The shots are
enough-
there, right? Like our shot is there. It's
Yeah,
just
the shot's fine. It's just like understanding how to counter specific characters in right places, and that's only going to get worse over
well,
time.
and like my one complaint with it always has been, and even coming back to it, it's like with Counter-Strike, at least I know when we get in, it's a fair game in the sense of like everyone's on the same playing field. Where in Valorant, it's like we do a quick match, it's you and I, so we have 3 randos, and then they pick their own heroes that make no sense for like the team comp or the map.
Jet Reyna Raze.
Right. And you're like,
Instant picks, and I was
cool.
like, "Alright,
So
guess
our
we're gonna play
Raze
mode."
hasn't put his bot down, the Roomba down once. Cool. Thank you. It's like
Yeah.
our Jet doesn't know how to op, or you know, it's like little things like that where it's just you've already lost unless your team is just god tier at killing. You've already
Or we
lost.
play a Jet that drops 35 on the other team. so.
Right. Our Jet gets 4 kills, their Jet gets 30. Like, and
Alright, well-
that's my issue. But
You done for the night?
yeah, I'm gonna go. I got life to do, but I'm going to kill the stream. Everyone, thank you for stopping by. AAA, thanks for stopping by. Following on YouTube. Wolf, thank you for being here as always. We'll talk to you guys in Discord and or next week.
We'll be playing Lost Ark when that comes out if anybody's interested, and we'll mention that on the next show. Just
Yeah,
as a
2
reminder.
weeks. 2 weeks.
But if anyone playing that, let us know. We'll let you know what server we're on.
Later.